So now we're going to work on the very first technique in the standing self-defense curriculum. This is actually the first technique that Grandmaster Eliel would teach a student. And I think it's for a couple reasons. One, it's a very important technique to learn how to defend this. But two, it kind of is a perfect example of jiu-jitsu. It's using the strongest parts of his body with leverage in order to escape and attack the weakest parts of my body, or the weakest parts of whatever it is I'm using to control him. So again, with the standing self-defense, we can either escape the hold or use the hold against the person. We're not trying to fight within the hold. That's very important to understand. So this technique is the defense against when somebody grabs you around the neck with both hands. Okay, so it's important to understand, if I grab him like this just from the front, okay, he can just walk away. Okay, so this technique won't work against this, but it doesn't really need to. So when somebody grabs you around the neck this way, I'm going to start choking you. Okay, so the first thing that's really important to understand is we always want to get into the proper position. I preach this a lot. Always in the proper position before you start trying to accomplish anything. So he has two things he wants to do. First is always get his base. If you don't have your base, your balance underneath you, it's very hard to do anything with any sort of power or to deal with power. Okay, so when I grab him, he doesn't want to try to do this when he's off balance, he's getting moved around. Okay, so the first thing he's going to do is make his base very heavy. He's going to, if he has to, open his legs and plant himself here. Okay, so the other thing is, of course, we have to protect the choke against the choke. So when I grab around my neck, I want to clench my teeth and tense up my neck this way. So if he's choking, this buys me a little bit of time. It's not going to be the pure defense, but it buys you a little bit of time. Okay. You can also, when he grabs me, I can also lift my shoulders and tuck my chin. I don't generally tell people to do that as much, simply because a lot of times when I grab him like this and he does that, you'll see people close their eyes. And you'll actually see, go ahead, do it again, that their jaw is, their teeth aren't clenched. Okay, which means if I hit him or he takes any damage and his jaw is open, there's a chance for injury. Okay, so when I do this, I know my jaw is closed. A lot of times people go like this and their jaw hangs open and they close their eyes. Okay, not a good combination. But again, if you're comfortable doing that, you can. Just make sure that you keep your eyes open and you keep your teeth clenched to harden up your jaw to make sure if you do take any damage, not that he can't use both hands, but we always want to protect that situation. So what I'm not going to do is when he grabs me by the neck is try to, Erkan and I are roughly the same strength. I may be even a little stronger, I'm bigger. I can't knock his arms off. Okay, I can try all these sorts of things and it's not going to happen. And I may only have a few seconds before I start blacking out. The other thing we don't want to do is he doesn't want to try to start punching me because it may not work, it's not effective. Also, I still have hold of him. So if he starts punching me, I could always just let go, punch him, and keep going back to this. Our goal is always to escape the hold. After that, if you want to strike, you can. Okay, so what we're going to do is very important. Hold your hands out this way. The escape is the thumbs. That's a very weak point of hinge right here. Okay, so what I'm not going to do is try to knock the arms off. I'm not going to try to pull away here. I'm simply going to bend. He holds his thumbs. I'll just show you very easy. I bend at the waist. It's very hard for his thumbs to hold up my entire body weight. Okay, so a couple really important details. First, I'll show the technique. I clench up my teeth. I get my base. I like to step one leg back, and that's the way I'm going to go. I bring my head down and under his arm. Okay, so even if he's holding on as tight as he can, it's just his thumb versus my entire body weight. Now, some very important details where people have trouble with this technique. So what they do is they just bend forward a little bit and try to back away, and I can just follow him. Okay. The other thing they do is they keep their head up. So the important part is he's actually trying to take the top of his head under my arm. So if his head stays up and he tries to go under, he can't go under. So he needs to bring his head forward, not rounding his back. He's going to bow. For here, we're just bowing. That's the technique. He's simply going to bow and circle his head under. Okay. The other thing that people will have a mistake on this is when they go, they'll try to twist themselves here. And now I'm really off balance, okay? And I'm still keeping my head up, okay? So I take the top of my head under his arm like a U. I won't step back so you guys can see. I just go right here, under, okay? Now, if you step back, very important, step this leg back. Don't, hold. Step the leg back. Don't go to the front leg. He tries to go this way, he's gonna be off balance. Okay, it's very important that he goes towards his back leg. Okay. Now, lastly, again, just practice here and here. Don't try to do as little as possible. Make sure you train this as a big motion. So I'm not trying to just kind of get away with what I can. Okay, I go, if I have to go down lower, I go down lower. I don't pull away and try to back away and then do this, he'll just follow me. So part of why we're stepping back is, of course, to clear more space, but it's also now I can frame away from him. Okay, so when we practice this, we don't go like this and just stand here, and then he just grabs me, hits me, whatever again. I need to back away. So I go here, I step back, I come out, and now I can back away. If I have to, I go here, I step out, my arm can check, so even if I can block this arm or he comes forward, I can check him here. Now if we wanted, we can strike depending on where he's at. Okay, so let's do it from this angle. Okay, here, he steps a leg back, he circles. If I come out, he's able to keep the space away from me. So again, some of the really important details, you first always get your base. Okay, if you're being moved around, you want to make sure you try to get your base first. He tenses up his neck. Turn this way, please. Okay, he steps one leg back. He brings his head down. Now, people will say, what about the knee? If you're worried about that, he's going to make an X with his arms. So if I try to knee him, he's able to check the leg. Okay, so that is our fundamental defense to the two-hand front choke.